Welcome to the Pest Control Case Study Part 1. This is William Mears, and I'm so excited and grateful to be able to share this with you today and in the future videos, Parts 2 and 3, at least Parts 2 and 3. We might do some more, but I definitely am excited about this because this is where we start to make things happen. And so I'm going to just jump right in and go through the overview here. And if you remember, I actually walked you through the beginning of the startup and the tools and resources, making sure you have all those in place. And then I'm actually going to walk you through this exact same overview for this campaign, this pest control campaign, by showing you the offer I selected and why, showing you the keyword discovery process that I used, building your website out, actually going and making the call only ads in AdWords, as well as optimizing and scaling for lower cost per leads and for more conversions. So if you remember this process, all this is just a wash, rinse, repeat, offer selection through scaling. And it's that simple. So let's take a look at offer selection. So my offer details, it's a pest control offer which is in the home services vertical. It's a 12-hour only offer, meaning it's not a 24/7 offer. It runs from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's $7 per qualified call. And to be qualified, it must be a call that originates in the U.S. and it must last longer than 2 minutes on the connect duration, meaning after the IVR, it should last longer than 2 minutes. So as long as it's in the U.S. and longer than 2 minutes of a call, I'm going to get paid $7 for each of those calls. Now, let's talk about my keyword discovery. So I use several different tools, the ones I recommend, which are What Ads Work, SpyFu, the Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, and Ubersuggest. And so I used them and actually found a couple of different keyword ideas, combined some keywords even, and then I put them all into separate campaigns. So I loaded each keyword tool that I used into a separate campaign just so I could track it easier. And I used one keyword per one ad group in each of those campaigns. Now again, I started with phrases and general key terms like pest control, but I branched out to other types of pests and pest control company names or brands, we should say. So between the generic keywords, I just want to see what those can do, as well as the different types of pests and pest control companies. This should give me a lot of traffic. Now let's talk about my website build out. I used a general domain for home services vertical, which is directhomeservice.com. That's my domain. And I did that so that I don't have to create a new domain every time or get a new domain every time I want to run an offer. So if I stay within home services like window treatments, bathtubs, things like that, I'll be able to run multiple offers from this one domain. It just makes it nice and easy for me to keep track of and to work with. I made one page for all of the keywords while I'm running the data. So I did not go and make an individual page for each keyword yet. I want to see what keywords are going to convert first, and then I'm going to hone in on those. I made sure that all my plugins were activated and set up and made sure the website was good to go. Now let's talk about my AdWords setup. I set up my keywords to where they were broad match and broad match modifier, exactly how I trained you. And the same thing goes for the ads. I made a dynamic keyword insertion ad for each keyword, and I also made a normal ad, a generic ad that covered all of the keywords. So I had 2 ads per ad group, which is also per keyword in each ad group. So 2 ads, one that was dynamic keyword insertion and one that was just a generic ad. And when it comes to the optimization strategy, there's nothing to optimize yet, so we'll cover that in the future videos. And scaling, the same thing. There's nothing to scale yet. So here we are 3 weeks later within the Pest Control Case Study Part 1. Let's take a look at the numbers. And I say results for now because, again, keep in mind this is a continual process of optimization. So we're going to continue zeroing in on the profit and where the money is to be made on the affiliate side of this offer. So these are the results just for now. I spent $1,076.19. That's US dollars. And in the affiliate commissions, I made $252 in the affiliate platform, the back office there. That's 36 paid calls at $7 a piece. And the total number of calls that I had driven for this to make this money was 234 calls. So 234 calls, 36 of them paid at $7 is $252 made, and I spent $1,076.19. And also with a conversion rate of about 15%, give or take. Now I know you're probably like, oh no, what happened? You spent almost $1,100 and you didn't even make 300. Like you didn't even make very much at all, probably less than 4 times the amount you were supposed to make. What happened? And I don't want you to freak out. I want you to understand that I paid for the data. So again, here's a screenshot just so you can see I'm being fully transparent on the numbers here. The campaign started around August the 20th and pretty much cut off around September the 20th. So that's about that month, a couple days over, but that's the month really where I pulled in 234 calls, 36 of them paid, and $252 earned, 15% conversion rate. So you can see in the back of Ring Partner here, these are real numbers. Now I want you to see what I paid for. I want you to understand I lost money, yes, but why did I lose money? If we can lose money and pull some good from it, what's the good that we pull? And what we pull is the data. So I'm about to show you several data points that are going to make this campaign really profitable long term. And I know that sounds crazy, but let me show you what I mean. So right now we're looking at days of the week, and I have 4 or 5 different campaigns that I was running. You can see this is the Uber Suggest campaign, and I break it down in AdWords by day of the week, which day of the week is most profitable. Now it looks like Monday's the most profitable day, except each conversion, each call that pays me $7 only cost me $55, almost $56. Well, that doesn't sound like a good deal at all, does it? Although Monday did have the most conversions, I want you to look at Tuesday, Sunday, and Saturday. And that if you add these 3 numbers up here, that's 7 as well. So 7 conversions on Monday, 7 conversions across the other 3 days that pulled in conversions. And then I want you to look at the average of these 3 numbers, which is the cost per conversion. That's somewhere in the neighborhood of $11, 10, $11 per conversion versus $55, $56 per conversion for the same amount of conversions, 7 versus 7. So just in this campaign alone, I see a lot of room for optimization and what days I should be bidding on. And again, I'm just going to go through these so you can see each campaign for days of the week. That way you know I'm being fully transparent with my numbers, and you can do the math on these if you want, not a problem. Now let's look at the hours of the day. So I've got this down to the hours of the day where, hey look, I'm pulling in 5 conversions for $55 almost a conversion. But if you look at right underneath of that at 8 in the morning, so that was 2 in the afternoon, at 8 in the morning I'm pulling in 4 conversions, which is actually, that's 80% of the conversions I'm pulling in at 2 o'clock. So 80%, but look at this, I'm paying 6, almost 7 times less, 6 or 7 times less for 80% of the same amount of the leads. And if you look down here, a lot of the costs per conversions are significantly lower as well. So these are more profitable times than 2 o'clock. Even though 2 o'clock has the most conversions, I don't want you to get fooled. I want you to look at where the money is being spent for these conversions. And that's going to help you, especially conversion rates. If you track conversion rates, this will help you understand these numbers a little bit better. So again, with this, I showed you days. Now I'm going to show you hours of the day, and I'm just going to go through each of the same campaigns, but just through hours of the day, so that you can see my numbers are real and I'm not playing around with these. All right, and the last thing we're going to optimize in on is going to be locations. And so you can see cost per conversion for locations. I've got Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Ohio just for this first screenshot. Here's another one for I believe the same campaign. Maybe it's a different campaign. I can't remember. Let me scroll back. Yeah, it looks like it's the same campaign, just the top. So you can see a bunch of different conversions coming in for all the different campaigns combined, and where my money should be spent, where I should be adjusting my bid up or increasing my bid on the locations. And so I'm just going to scroll through these so you can see, hey, these are all the different locations that pulled conversions. And so under locations, here's where you see the average conversion cost. You can see it's around $40 per conversion, which sounds horrible when you think that I'm only getting paid $7, but when you see some of the optimizing stuff that I'm going to be doing that I've already taught you, you probably already understand, and you're definitely going to understand. Sounds horrible when you think that I'm only getting paid $7, but when you see some of the optimizing stuff that I'm going to be doing, that I've already taught you, you probably already understand, and you're definitely going to understand by the end of this case study how this thing works and how I can actually drive those costs per conversions way down to where I'm actually profitable in the campaign just by optimizing the campaign. So this is the location section and what that looks like here. And this is a scroll down of that just so you can see a continuation of all the different conversions. And this is the ad schedule, so I can actually see which 3-hour blocks are converting the best and where the money is coming from. And this is just a scroll down of that same screen there. So let's talk about the optimization strategy from here on and what we're going to be implementing so that when you come back to part 2, you're going to know what you're looking for. So the optimization strategy is very simple. We had a problem. I had a problem with the what I call the 2 IVRs problem. And IVR is instant voice recognition, and basically it's a phone tree. And so when you do a test call to an offer, for this particular offer, it's got a press 1, 2, or 3 phone tree, and press 1 is for pest control. The other 2 are for animal, I believe. And once they press 1, they're prompted to enter in their zip code. Now, here's the catch, here's the tricky part. Once someone had entered in their zip code, they were then forwarded to the local pest control company in their area. And a lot of cases, not all of them, but a lot of them, they had another phone tree that was part of the local company, the local pest control company. So people were pressing 1, entering a zip code, and then having to press 1 and a bunch of other buttons just to get to speak to someone. So a lot of people got frustrated as soon as they heard that second press 1 or second phone tree or second IVR. So I call it the 2 IVR problem. So I had to get that fixed. And how I got that fixed was I actually called up Ring Partner and had a discussion with them about the problem. I had the call recordings. We listened to them together, or they listened to them and I listened to them, and we came to an understanding, hey, we're going to be able to convert more if we do something about the 2 IVR problem, either get rid of one of them or shorten it so that people aren't as frustrated by the time they get to that second IVR or the IVR that belongs to the company. And they saw that I was converting on calls already, so they knew I was sending quality traffic, and they could listen to the recording. So there was nothing fishy going on whatsoever. It's just a matter of converting more. And so anything that makes them more money obviously is going to make me more money, and it's going to make their clients more money. So everybody wins. So once we fix the 2 IVR problems, we want to target in on the states that are converting or the locations that are converting, the days that are converting, and the hours of the day that are converting the best. And again, we're going to go back to those specific locations, days, and hours, and we're going to do 15 to 20% bid adjustments or bid increases for those times a day. So we're not going to turn everything else off. We're just going to increase the bid adjustments for the winners. That way we know we're getting more traffic during those peak times, more traffic during those peak days, more traffic in those specific locations. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to pay more. So here's what I want you to understand about bid adjustments. Just because you make a bid adjustment or have an increase of a bid adjustment does not mean you're going to pay that much more. What it means is you're telling Google, hey, I want more of that traffic. Now, when we go back through the campaign in the optimized side and we choose the winning ad copy and use it, and we choose the winning keywords and get rid of the rest, and we build specific pages for those keywords in order to increase the quality score. Once that happens, I want you to understand these numbers are not static. It's not accounting here. These are dynamic numbers where when Google says, okay, I'll give you a higher quality score for your ads based on the fact that you have this custom page and based on the fact that you have this high click-through rate ad, what's going to happen is now that you've optimized that, Google says, okay, here's a higher quality score. Now, a higher quality score, which would be 7, 8, 9, 10, anything above a 6 is going to be good because you're going to be paying less per click, not more, less per click, just because Google says so. Now, when you're paying less per click, even though your bids are higher, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get all of that traffic because your bids are so high, but you're actually only paying a decreased amount from what Google says you can pay and get away with, if that makes sense. Because the highest bid wins, But if you're the lowest cost in terms of ad quality score, Google's going to give you the traffic, believe it or not. So that's the really cool part. Just because you increase your bids does not mean you're going to pay more. It just means you're going to get more in term if you optimize correctly, of course. And of course, I build custom pages out for those converting keywords in order to help increase those quality scores. So I found about 15 in this campaign that I'm going to build out keywords for, and I'm probably going to build out more for some search terms or search queries in part two. So the scale strategy is very simple. I'm just going to increase my daily budgets from 50 or 80 to 100. If they're 100, I'll probably go to 150 or so. And I'm going to add new keywords from ideas using search terms or search queries. And then I'm going to combine the brand names with those keywords and create new keywords. So I'll actually have brand name keywords. So as an example, Orkin pest control or Orkin flea bombs, things like that. Terminex flea bombs. That'd be a great way to get more traffic and scale this offer out. So a few key points I want you to take away with you. The two IVRs caused a serious drop in call times. Matter of fact, based on the recordings, I had more calls drop at the 1 minute mark, short of me getting paid, of course, than I did converted calls, meaning I could easily double, probably more than double the amount of conversions that I'm pulling in. So I called RP, Ring Partner, excuse me, RP, Ring Partner, and they sorted me out with that IVR problem with very little work. And again, these calls could have at least converted at double, which means with the same ad spend, which means I could make twice the amount of money I made just by fixing the IVR, and we haven't even gotten into optimizing based on the location, day, and time. And so again, when we get into that, I've got clear locations to target, I've got clear days to target, and I've got clear hours of the day to target. So here are some important takeaways for you. Data. Data is very important. It may look like you're losing now, but when your campaign is optimized, it's going to pull in money. And for those who want to sell local leads to local clients, I should say, here's a message for you, actually a question. How much could you sell 171 calls that were over 30 seconds for? How much could you sell each of those calls for? $5 a lead? How about $10 a lead? And here's another question for you. How much could you sell 36 sales for? In other words, pest control calls that booked an appointment, basically resulting in a sale, 36 sales. You think you could sell those for 50 bucks a piece? How about 100? 100 is not too far-fetched, especially on a pest control service that's charging a few hundred to several $100s based on like a quarterly service plan. I mean, those are not cheap, and so you can charge 100 bucks, and if you're charging 100 bucks, all you're doing is selling money at a discount to these pest control companies. So some real food for thought there, anywhere from $1,800 to $3,600 just if you sell the sales, and if you sell the calls, it's working out to about the same for 10 to 20 bucks a call, 10 to 20 bucks a lead, I should say, that's over 30 seconds. I mean, that's some serious money. I mean, if you do just a little bit of thinking on that, I'm sure you can come up with some ways to literally go lock down one or two clients. 36 sales to one client could make their entire month, but you can actually scale this way beyond one client. You could do several clients in this same vertical. It's pretty exciting when you think about it. Now, one thing again I want you to understand is that spending money up front and expecting to lose a little bit in exchange for the data is actually what's going to make your campaign a winner in the long term. So the data is able to tell me exactly where I'm going to go and find my clients, where all the leads, the hot leads are coming in at, so that I know when I go and approach clients, I can say, hey, listen, I've got leads in your area that are dying for this service, and they're going to believe me because they know it's red hot. I'm going to be able to connect the dots for these people, for these clients of mine, and for the leads that I'm generating, and make some serious bank pretty much on autopilot just with the local end. Now, if you do affiliate work, all I want you to read from this is keep optimizing, and there's a way for you to make profit on these campaigns and not ever have to get a client. So it's totally up to you. If you do decide to do the affiliate model, I do want you to understand full disclosure here, full transparency. I believe in that. I know that you can make money doing this in the affiliate world. However, I also know that if you take this same offer to the local world,